Okay, so for this reading log, I decided to read A Bunch of Punctuation, and it is a book of a series of poems that were selected by Lee Bennett Hopkins, and it is illustrated by Serge Bloch. I believe is how you pronounce his name. It was published by Word Song, and its copyright date is 2018. I would say that it is obviously poetry. There's 31 pages, and I would honestly say that it is appropriate for almost any age. I said grades 1 through 5, but even at the very front of the book, it says, in A Bunch of Punctuation, 14 poems introduce writers and anyone who loves language to these and other personable punctuation marks. So I would really say that it is appropriate for pretty much anyone. It was really enjoyable to read even as an adult. So, this book, like I said, is a collection of poems describing all the different types of punctuation, and it's often written from the point of view of the punctuation mark, which I thought was also really fun. The illustrations really capture what each of the poems is about, and it makes sure to highlight and, star the punctuation that's on each page, and that is featured in each poem. So I would say, each of the 14 poems details the power of punctuation. The first poem and the last poem in the book really encompass all punctuation, but the middle 12 poems is dedicated to a specific punctuation. So, for example, this one is all about commas. So, it's a really fun book. Sorry, my daughter is not being helpful right now. Please stop. Thank you. Okay, sorry. I would say that this book would be a really creative and fun way to introduce students to punctuation and the proper ways to use it. But I think it would also be a nice refresher for older kids on how to properly use grammar and when one punctuation is appropriate versus another. Again, the illustrations are super fun and entertaining, and so I really liked this book a lot. As for an activity, I would have each of my students write their own punctuation poem. I would personally write up on the board each of the punctuations that this story in particular featured. So like exclamation mark, question mark, quotations, periods, semicolons, colons. I would write all of those up, and then I would allow the students to choose, but I would make sure that each of the punctuations were chosen, and that I didn't have 10 doing question mark, but only 1 doing a period. So that is all for this book. Again, it is A Bunch of Punctuation by Lee Bennett Hopkins and illustrated by Serge Bloch. Thank you.